Good morning, students. Sai Ram. How are you? I hope you are doing well and start solving case studies. Okay, class. In earlier video, we have learned about the meaning of business environment, its features and its importance. Okay, in this part, we will learn about the new economic policy, their reforms and demonetization. Okay, class. So, let's start with the topic economic environment and India, or we can say economic environment in India, new economic policy, economic reforms, all are same in meaning. In this topic, we will study about the situation of our economy at the time of independence. So, before independence, when Britishers was ruled here, they produced goods with modified technology and with automatic machines, which cost is lower than the cost of the product produced by the India. Okay, so due to this reason, Indian producers bear losses, Indian industries goes into losses, and this also affect the economy of India. And after independence, Government of India takes over on all industries and start running according to their rules and regulations. The role of private companies at that time was zero. All the infrastructure companies was run as public companies, which means control of government and only complete control of government on their infrastructure industries, and some of the consumer products are permitted to produce by the private companies. Okay, at that time all were thought that government will handle all these crises and rebuild our nation and our economy and our industrial sector. But we were wrong, because due to lack of competition and laziness and dependency on paperwork, which make a continuous fall in the public sector, which is which is controlled or governed by the government. Okay, so the public sector facing continuous loss up to 1990, and our economy continuously going into a worst condition. So to overcome from this financial crisis, Government of India was decided to introduce new economic policy. Okay, in July 1991. Now, what is new economic policy? Look here, the industrial sector, the picture of industrial sector at that time. Now, new economic policy of India. What is new economic policy? New economic policy means it is a process of economic reforms which was started by the Government of India in 1991 for taking the country out of the economic difficulty and speeding up with the development of the country. The center of economic reforms has been liberalization, privatization and globalization. Okay, so why the economic policy has introduced? Why? To overcome from the difficulties which was faced by the Indian economy. New economic policy with new rules and regulation, with no restrictions, bring a new change in our economy and bring our economic from the bring out the our economy from the financial crisis. Now there are some features of economic policies like dislicensing. Look, licensing means to dislicense means at that time government fully controlled all the industries. Okay, before 1991, And if we want to start a business, then we have to give permission, license from the government. After that we will start a business. But now in this new economic policy, their first feature is dislicensing, means only 6 industries were kept under the licensing schemes and all are free to run. Okay, this make the other producer to produce freely. Next is entry to private sector, which also means the privatization. The role of public sector means all the companies or industries which was governed by the government. Okay, the role of public sector was limited only to 4 industries and rest of all industries were open for the private sector. Okay, which means an individual owner or a private owner run freely and easy to invest in all industries except only for 4 industries. Okay, next is disinvestment. Here disinvestment means it carried out in many public sector enterprise. Disinvestment means transfer of investment from public sector to private sector. Okay, now government start disinvesting, means transfer their investment from public sector to private sector, means public industries to private industries. Now next is liberalization on foreign policy. Okay, liberalization means to free. Okay, free to do any work. Now here liberalization of foreign policy, which also means to give permission to freely trade from outside the company to outside the company, means which include exporting, importing and free our traders to trade freely. Okay, within or outside our country territory. Okay, next is liberalization in technical area. Automatic permission was given to Indian companies for signing technology agreement with the foreign companies. Okay, so to modify our companies, to modify our product, or to modify our technical areas, it is very necessary to purchase the technology from outside the world, because we have to stand our or rebuild our industries for facing competition in the market. Okay, these are some features of new economic policy. Now here we can see these features are also covered under 3 headings, which is number 1 is liberalization, second is privatization and third one is globalization. Okay, the first reform is liberalization. Yes, liberalization is the major steps, one of the step which was taken by the government to promote industries in a new aspect. Like first one is liberalization. Liberalization means to give freedom, or we can say that removing or relaxing government control and restrictions on economic activity in aspects of like relief of foreign investor, re-evolution of Indian currency, new industrial policies, new trade policies, import technology, encouraging foreign tie-ups, privatization in public sectors. Okay, its main 3 features are 3 or 4. Like number 1 is abolition of license. Abolition of license means restriction of license was cancelled, cancelled for only, but it is only for few industries, means licensing is required but only for few industries. Okay, and also give free permission, means to run freely, permission to all industries. Okay, now next point is which means next one is no restriction on business activities, which means they can easily expand or contract their business without any restriction. Before new economic policy, if we want to expand and if we want to contract our business, so we have to first we have to take permission from the government. After that we will continue. Okay, now next liberalization point is freedom on the movement of assets or goods. Now after new economic policy, in this reform we can easily move their goods from one country to another country because it remove all the restriction on the international trade. Okay, now next one is freedom on fixing price. Before new economic policy, all have to take permission from the government to fix their product price, but after this liberalization, all can freely fix their prices according to their profit making planning, according to their wish. Now next part is privatization. Privatization means, what is the meaning of privatization? The word privatization means transferring of assets owned by the government, the public sectors, to the private sectors by selling their assets, okay, by the liquidation, okay, by disinvestment and so on. Okay, now there are some steps which was taken by the government in this reforms, like denationalization, joint venture, leasing, financing. These are the forms, okay, and also the steps which was taken by the government. Which one is number one is disinvestment. Disinvestment means, which means to transfer of investments or the diversion of public investment to the private section. As we all know, after independence, all the industries are come under the public sector or owned by the government, but due to their laziness, due to their lack of competition, there is no scope for these industries and our economies fall down continuously. So in this privatization, government start disinvesting their investment from public sector to the private sector, okay, which means they start converting public sector industries to private sector industries. Okay, now next one is they set up a board for of industries and finance reconstruction, which is also known as BIFR, means Board of Industrial and Finance Reconstruction. Its main motive to set up is, it was set up to treat the sick units of industries and make them in a survival condition, which this board main motive is to set up the sick industries which was continuously going into a loss, so they help financially and help them to stand up again. Okay, now next step is dissolution of the state of government, which means to diversion of 51% of shares of government companies to private companies. So in this it refers, we have noticed that the role of private companies was enhanced and the role of public companies has reduced. Okay, now I hope you all have understand privatization. Liberalization means to give free permission, remove all the restrictions, and privatization means to transfer the hold of public sector to the private sector. Now next one is globalization. As you see in our picture, globalization means open the door of our country for another country, means it is also relating to international trade, exporting, importing and entreporting. Okay, now Globalization is also means to integrating our economy to the world's economy. Okay, there are some features of globalization, or there are more some steps which was taken by the government to stand our economy or to rebuild our economy. And some features are like, number one, economy of country will open itself to a global economy, enable a country to purchase commodity from any country in the world, expanding the business across the world and formulate plans for that, removing difference between domestic market and foreign market, securing factors of production, relaxation of restriction of import easily, securing the foreign exchange necessary for import, developing a perspective that the whole world market is a simple market, developing production, manufacturing and distribution facilities in any part of the world, substantially rising foreign direct investment in domestic industries and project. Or we can say, in a simple points, we start again. Like, number one is, there are some important points, like number one, reduction in import duty, which means the duty which was paid at the time of import of product was reduced. And another, abolishing of export duty, which means the removal of export duty while exporting. And next one is enhancing the scope of international trade, in which all these points have already covered. Okay, so the factors or the steps are comes under three headings. Number one is abolishing or removing the export duty. Next, reducing the import duty, and other other points like these features which comes under. Okay, now new economic policy, whose main motive is to enhance the privatization, to enhance the public sector, to promote people, producer, to freely export and import, give liberalization to the industries. Okay, now what are the impact after these reforms? What are the impact of new economic policy 1991 on Indian economy? These impacts are comes under 8 headings. Number one is increasing competition. Second, more demanding customer. Third, rapidly changing technological environment. D, necessity for change. E, need for developing human resources. F, market orientation. G, loss of budgetary support to public sector. And last one is export of matter of survival. Okay, let's start one by one. Now, increasing competition. As we all know, by the globalization, we open our door to the world's economy, and we invite MNCs and foreign investors to invest in our domestic market, which also bring a competition in our domestic market. Okay, so what is the first impact on our economy? It increases the competition by inviting the foreign countries to trade in our country. Okay, now number second is more demanding customer. Look students, these points are also interrelated, so it is very easy to understand and it is very easy to learn. Okay, so listen properly. Number one is increasing competition due to globalization. Many MNCs and foreign investors, foreign companies bring their product, produce here and invest here, and also bring a competition for our domestic industry. Okay, now second one is more demanding customer. If the competition in the market is increases, then the customers demand is also increases, because if there are many choices, many products in the market, then the customer is also feel free to demand. Okay, so first and second point are interrelate or interlinked. Like when competition increases, then the demand of customer is also increases. Now next one is rapidly changing technologies. Okay, if we invite foreign investors, if we purchase foreign techniques, if we use foreign techniques, if we invest in foreign countries, if there is a merger in our country's industry and another countries, then their technology will also bring a dynamic change in our environment, and this dynamic change is an obligation for our domestic companies in this industries or companies to adopt it and modified the product, because we have to stand in the market. Okay, so if we want to stand in a global market, so we have to dynamically change our technologies and accept these changes. Okay, next is necessity for change. This point is also related to the above point, necessity for change. It is our necessity, it is our requirement, it is our need to change. If we don't change our technologies, the way of doing work, then we will not stand in a market, because market is continuously changing, okay, with rapid change. So if we want to stand in a market and want to make profit, so we have to, it is a necessary to change. Okay, now next one is need for developing human resources. Now why we need to develop human resources? Look, if the technology modified, then workers, the human resource is also upgraded. They also need to know how to handle these technologies. So it is a responsibility of human resource management to give them training, to give them a workshop training to how to handle these technology. Okay, so they will work according to their training. Okay, next one is market orientation. Here market orientation means focuses on market. What now the market focuses on profit and also for consumer satisfaction. In earlier days, its focus is only on production. They start doing production and continuously produce, but their profit will fall. Their profit is also falling. But now now our psychology, okay, is, or philosophy of market is only on customer, like customer satisfaction plus profit. So now we have to focuses, all the industries have to focuses on which point, on customer satisfaction plus profit. Okay, because customer is the god of market, so we have to satisfy, we have to fulfill their all demand and produce according to their demand. Okay, now next one is loss of budgetary support to the public sector. Okay, now in this point, this impact is that there is no need to give financial support to the public sector. They should own, produce, stand and make profit. Okay, so the last one is export a matter of survival. Now the thinking has to be changed. The motive of our industry is not to survive, is to make profit with their consumer satisfaction. Okay, I hope you will understand all these points. Okay, now next topic is demonetization. Now our new economic policy has been finished, which include 3 reforms: liberalization, globalization and privatization. Their impacts is also there. Now our next topic is demonetization. What is demonetization? It is the act of stripping a currency unit of its status as legal tender, which also means it is a necessary whenever there is a change of national currency. The old unit of currency must be retired and replaced with the new currency. As you look here, 1000 rupee note is replaced by the 2000 new pink note, and old 500 rupees is also replaced by the new one. So in a simple way, what is demonetization? Demonetization means removal or replacement of old currency by the new currency, and also give new currency a legal tender. Legal tender means a legal place, legal status. Okay. Now there are some rupee notes like 1 rupee note, 10 rupee note, 5 rupee note, which was demonetized in our history in earlier days. Okay. Now what are the objectives behind demonetization? Government demonetized currency. So they are having some reasons and objectives behind it. So in this point we will study about the objectives, why the money or currency will monetized or was monetized. Number 1 is to eradicate counterfeit currency. Counterfeit means fake currency. Its first and basic objective of demonetization is to remove fake currency from our country. Okay. Next, fight tax evasion. Tax evasion means tax evasion. Tax evasion means to fight against the illegal activities in which a person deliberately avoid paying a true tax liability. Okay. Now next one is black money. Eliminate black money gotten from money laundering, which means, look, black money. What is black money? Means illegal money, unpaid tax money. So its another main motive is to stop or find out these black money, and government, what the government have done? Government took control over this black money. Okay. Now next one is to eliminate terrorist financing activity. Now this black money will use or has used by the some peoples for financing terrorist activity. So by eliminating these notes, these currencies, by demonetization, it also stop to it also helps to eliminate terrorist financing activity. Okay. Next is to promote a cashless economy. Cashless economy means to use plastic money. Okay. Pay bills by e-money, by using your credit card, debit card, by net banking, by Paytm. There are many options. Okay. It helps to find out those people who are not paying their taxes, and it also helps a government to stop the activities of not paying other taxes like GST and other taxes by vendors or marketers. Okay. These are some objectives. Number 1 is to eradicate fake currency, to fight against tax thievers, to eliminate black money, to eliminate financing of terrorist activities, and to promote cashless economy. Now there are some positive effects and there are also some negative effects. Okay. Now their positive effects are, number 1, demonetization impacts 20 trillion human trafficking industries and other sectors like drug trafficking, illegal trade, and money used in it, funding of election, and involvement of various terrorist group affected badly. Okay. Another, some steps has to be taken for cashless economy. Real estates like lands can can see significantly course of correction, less chance of avoiding tax, and parallel economy. Now, there are some negative impacts also of demonetization, like it will bring a big boost for credit cards. People start using credit cards, okay, and now after demonetization also, it our India is still a vastly unbanked country. Many people are many people among the poor do not have their bank accounts, and it is very expected them to use plastic money, which is unrealistic for them, okay. And this is a very tough situation for small traders, okay. I hope you will all understand the demonetization, its objective, its impact, positive and negative both. Now there are some case studies. Read it carefully. Their answer. Question number second. Its answer. I hope you all are doing case study. Please student, concentrate on your studies. Keep finding out your queries and try to solve and concern with me. Okay? Thank you, Sairam.